from Matt Rife getting cancelled by the That's Misogyny Brigade.
And I feel like they should put her in the kitchen or something where nobody has to see her face, And I was like, yeah, but I feel like if she could cook, she wouldn't have that black eye.
To Dave Chappelle making the they-thems boil with fury.
Tastes like that's not quite what it is it? It's not blood, that's beet juice.
Here are 11 times comedians told jokes so offensive they nearly ended their own careers.
I've only been to Baltimore one time. I ate lunch there, and the hostess who seats you at the restaurant had a black eye. A full black eye. And it wasn't like, what happened? It was pretty obvious what happened.
Matt Rife's no stranger to controversy, but in his Netflix special Natural Selection, he kicked off with a DV joke. And as you can guess, it did not go well.
And we couldn't get over the fact that we're like, this is the face of the company? This is who you have greeting people? And my boy who I was with was like, yeah, I feel bad for her, man. I feel like they should put her in the kitchen or something where nobody has to see her face, And I was like, yeah, but I feel like if she could cook, she wouldn't have that black eye.
What he said next would make the internet blow up in fury.
And I was like, yeah, but I feel like if she could cook, she wouldn't have that black eye.
To make matters worse, he doubled down, saying he was just testing the waters.
Just wanted to see. I figured we start the show with domestic violence. The rest of the show should be pretty smooth sailing after that. Yeah, of course I felt bad for her, man. But she should have had her protection crystals, you know what I mean?
And netizens were angry. But the getting cancelled part came when Matt Rife posted an apology link on Instagram, which led to a site selling special needs helmets for kids and adults. Not really sorry, are we, Matt? You know who else is never sorry for making people angry? Jimmy Carr.
They say, listen, I wrote this joke about a baby. I can't tell that joke, but maybe you could. And you go, have you seen my act? It's not that bad.
What is
the last 15 minutes?
What is the most offensive joke that you've ever written?
Jimmy Carr's at the green room with Paul Provenza, and things are already getting wild. But you might want to brace yourself for what he says next.
If only Africa had more mosquito nets, then every year we could save millions of mosquitoes from dying needlessly of AIDS. Wow.
Needless to say, the joke triggered a lot of folks who aren't exactly besties with dark humor. But hey, it's Jimmy. Bizarre is his brand. Still think that wasn't too offensive? Just wait till you hear what Frankie Boyle had to say.
Shall I tell you why I'm like what I'm like, Johnny? I think I can explain myself to you. When I was a wee boy, my granddad used to take me up into the loft. He'd take down a chest that he had up there. He'd open up the chest. Do you know what was in it? A mermaid.
Frankie's here explaining why he's so messed up, and you know it's about to get twisted. The only problem is, he's delivering this joke to a literal kid.
And he'd have me stripped naked as a wee boy and make love to that mermaid on the floor while he watched for his gratification.
Man, that's dark. But Frankie isn't done yet.
Now, years later, when the old bastard was dead, I went back up into the loft. I took down the chest and opened up. Do you know what I found in there? A dead monkey with its legs sewn together.
Trust me, what he says next is even more bizarre.
You remind me of that monkey, Johnny.
One commenter wrote, "How he keeps a straight face while telling that joke is beyond me." And honestly, same. As someone beautifully put it, dark humor is like a child with cancer. It never gets old. Speaking of children, here's one from Ricky Gervais that'll either have you rolling on the floor or reaching for a bucket.
I told this joke. Made sure the old people couldn't hear, like that. I went, okay, Father sitting at home, just reading the newspaper. This little girl comes running in. She's only 6. Hello, darling. Hello, Daddy. You've been playing? Yeah. In the park? Yeah.
Ricky Gervais is in his element, doing what he does best. But this next joke, even by his standards, it's sort of pushing it.
With your friends? Well, until the man came along. Till the man came along? Yeah, a man came along, and he asked my friends to leave, so it was just me and him. Darling, come over here. Whatever happened, none of it was your fault, okay, darling? None of it was your fault. But tell Daddy every detail. What happened?
Oops, this joke goes way beyond dark, and the dead silence in the audience says it all.
He took me behind a tree so no one could see what we were doing. Oh, God, darling, and then what happened? He took my dress off. Oh, God, what happened next? What happened?
And just when you think it can't get worse, wait for it.
He took his thing out. Oh, God, darling, and then what happened? Nothing, that was it. Oh, well, make something up.
What? Ricky, I don't know what's more twisted, the joke or the commenter who said, humor is like people. Not everyone likes the dark ones. Brutal, man, but definitely hilarious. You know who else is brutally, shockingly, and nauseatingly funny? David Cross.
It's a postcard, and there's a photo of a rose, and then underneath the rose, in the shape of a heart, is blood.
It's bigger and blackerer, and David Cross is about to drop a joke about a postcard. Let's see where he takes this one.
And there's a tiny picture of a woman here, and it says, "Nothing hurts like love. Besides being a date victim." What? What? What does that mean?
You tell us, David, what does that mean?
What do you... Why, sir, why? It is so weird. And then you turn it over and it's information for this trust, the trust was formed to educate young people and other vulnerable groups, women, in...
Am I the only one who's thinking about all the feminists getting all riled up over this? Guess not.
Be careful how much you drink. Remember, alcohol loosens inhibitions, so you may end up doing something you regret, or worse. You psychologically cannot afford to regret it.
Bet those tips were written by a comedian himself. But Cross is about to take it to another level.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do I regret getting drunk and digging up the corpse of Anne Frank and f***ing it on the steps of her house? No. I thought it was pretty cool. Where's everybody going?
Speechless. But hey, at least this commenter proved me wrong when I thought feminists would be mad. They wrote, "I don't care how much of a feminist I am, every bit of that was funny as hell." Guess this just proves not all feminists are femin dimwits. While we're discussing the R jokes, David Cross isn't the only one who's sailed through these waters. Jimmy Carr's been right there as well.
Can I end my career in 8 words? What do you think? Come on, have a little faith. Of course I can. Let's count them off. You can prevent any. Just say yes.
Well, that's one way to end the terribly funny show, Jimmy. But hey, looks like this one audience member didn't like what you said.
You look as if you really don't want to be laughing at that joke. Somewhat ironically, I'm forcing you.
Gotta love his ability to dig up laughs in the darkest corners. But trust me, it's nothing compared to the absolute hate storm Trevor Noah faced after joking about a potential war between India and Pakistan.
The first time these two countries have both deployed warplanes against each other since their last war almost 50 years ago. But the big difference this time is that both countries now have nuclear weapons.
Well, that doesn't sound good. And if you're not familiar with the situation between India and Pakistan, just think of it this way. Imagine Cardi B and Nicki Minaj.
Tensions were already sky high between the two neighboring countries, but if there's one thing that briefly united them, it was outrage at Trevor Noah.
And obviously, I hope India and Pakistan don't go to war. But if they did go to war, it would probably be the most entertaining war of all time, yeah? Because the Indian soldiers would run out on the battlefield and they'd be like, time for you to die.
Man, that is hilarious. And considering how India and Pakistan are still struggling with each other, makes it even funnier.
Life difficult, Katu! It would also be the longest war of all time. Another dance number? And finally, sorry, I love Bollywood, I'm sorry, I do.
People were angry, yes, but this commenter highlighted the positive side of this jab, saying, "Damn, Trevor, you seem to have united Indians and Pakistanis at least in comments. That's something I could never in my dreams imagine happening. Maybe all we need is another Trevor Noah joke this year as well. Just saying." Now, all these jokes may have been in bad taste or just gone wrong, but what Jimmy Fallon did on SNL sparked outrage even before cancel culture was a major thing.
Where is he? Man, oh man, read this book. I've seen Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and guess what? Not a lot of black folks on the show. Right.
It's the year 2000, and Jimmy is impersonating none other than Chris Rock.
Not a lot of black folks on the show. You know why? Because black folks don't like to answer questions. Oh, they want to be millionaires, but you got to ask that kind of question like, in 1981, how many grams of did Rick James smoke when he recorded Super Freak?
Little did Jimmy know, this sketch would land him in hot water, eventually forcing him to issue a public apology. Jimmy Fallon isn't the only comedian who's had to apologize for a joke gone wrong. Sarah Silverman is in the same boat.
I look like the beautiful Queen Latifah. Thanks. I love it. It's so Rhoda. New York, this is your last chance.
This blackface comment in the Sarah Silverman program crossed a line for many viewers. But when Ricky Gervais is in the room, lines aren't just crossed, they're obliterated.
Oh, women. Not all women. I mean the old-fashioned ones. You know, the old-fashioned women. Oh, God. You know, the ones with wombs. Oh. Those dinosaurs.
Mere hours after Ricky's Netflix special Supernature dropped, the internet lit up like a Christmas tree with critics raging at him. Why? See for yourself.
No, I love the new women. I know the new women. They're great, aren't they? You know, the new ones we've been seeing lately. The ones with beards and they're as good as gold. I love them.
Oh, Ricky, always playing with fire.
No, it's the old-fashioned. And now the old-fashioned, they go like, oh, they want to use our toilets. Why shouldn't they use your toilets? For ladies. They are ladies. Look at their pronouns.
To be honest, these pronouns are a maze. But don't worry, Ricky's roast might just knock some sense into a few lost souls.
What about this person isn't a lady? Well, his her you bigot.
And it gets more intense.
What if he me? What if she you? You
Wow. No wonder people were mad. Speaking the truth these days, that's practically a crime. But hey, as Christopher said in the comments, there is hope for the world as long as comedians like Gervais and Chappelle continue to do what they do. Facts, buddy, facts. Now that Dave's in the conversation, let me tell you, he doesn't just challenge these modern-day concepts, he teleports to a whole different dimension of offensive.
I am not saying that to say that trans women aren't women. I am just saying that those that they got, you know what I mean?
The legendary Dave Chappelle is on the stage, and from the looks of it, he's about to stomp all over some very sensitive feelings.
I'm not saying it's not, but that's like beyond impossible. You know what I mean? It tastes like, but that's not quite what it is it? It's not blood, that's beet juice.
Yes, Dave, slay those angry If you enjoyed this video of comedians making offensive jokes, you'll love what's up next. So click here to watch.